Nathan coming at you from the fields of Great Britain. No, I'm just kidding about that. I'm actually in Bozeman, Montana, and this is the 2025 Mini Cooper Countryman S. And this vehicle is pretty much all new from the ground up, and it represents a major departure for Mini. And in this video, I'm going to take you around it and tell you all about it. I don't know how you guys feel about this material. I am seriously on the fence about it. Now, unlike other Minis, there aren't a lot of choices in terms of material content for the interior. So you're stuck with this type of fabric. And it feels like a heavy corduroy almost. Feels durable. I don't know how easy it would be to clean, but it's basically a cloth. It's made out of partially recycled material. Interesting door pull, very different from the old ones. Once again, the whole square design that they've got on the outside of the car is inside the vehicle. Very BMW-like switches. And then you have a small pocket down here. I don't really find it to be that attractive, but it's not horrible. I don't think it matches very well with the interior. These seats and the steering wheel, which by the way, outstanding steering wheel, they are made out of a fake leather, which feels better than real leather. And I'm being honest about it because I'm normally like really into, okay, this doesn't sound right, but I'm really into leather. Yeah, this is a great feeling substitute. Let me sit down here. Room isn't too bad. Large people can fit. Let's get this back here. Now this is a 9-inch screen, but it looks so much bigger because it's round. And the overall toys, right, all the things that you can do with the screen are pretty impressive. So there's a thing called experiences here. By the way, this is where your gear lever is. I kid you not. This is where you go into reverse or drive, and there's neutral. And that's your parking button. To start the engine, you have this. Turn that. Ba-blam. Yeah. Still not 100% on that one either, frankly. Okay, just turned down the air, got the engine running. The reason I have the engine running is because I'm going to go to experiences. Here we go. So you've got core, green, vivid, timeless, balance, trail. Yeah, that's the last one, trail. I'm actually going to stick with trail, and I'll show you why. Check out this whole parchment look, right? And this is the screen thing. It doesn't do anything to the car's dynamics. But what happens is, get rid of that. Your navigation is now this particular color. Your settings here, once again, all the themes are kind of all played out in the same thing. You still have your Union Jack here, but it's in this kind of cool sketched outline. Okay, so all of this is there. And let's go back to experiences. And I shall show you. Okay, this one's balance. No idea. Just, it's balance. It does things. Unusually, right when I went to balance, the seat massager kicked in. I kid you not. The driver's seat has a massage feature that you have to dig in here in order to find. Go figure, right? Now, by the way, these materials here, it's all blue. Same thing as the doors in terms of the quality of the material and what it is. I'm just not 100% sold on it. Okay, here's the back seat. Now, I apologize in advance. There's film equipment and luggage back here because, well, frankly, there's no other place to put it. Okay, so the door panel here, very similar type of material. It's all brown here, matches the seats. Once again, similar BMW accoutrement. And then we've got the seating back here. Now, I have it set for me, and I'm just around 6'1". And you might see not a ton of space, but I'm going to try to sit there anyway. All right, 1 foot in. You know, yeah, I can just get my legs back here without much of a problem. And I've got oogles, tons of headroom. Actually, headspace is quite good. Now, back here, there's something I really like. There we go. Vents, yes. Actual air vents back here. USB-C's right here. I believe that's air vent control right there. So that's a little storage nook down there. Other than that, very simple, very basic back seat. But once again, decent room as long as you're sitting behind me, and I do have stubby legs. I have here the sticker, the Monroney. And in this sticker, you're going to see a few very interesting things about this Mini. And the reason why I'm bringing this up right now, as opposed to waiting until the end of the video, is because you need to know that this is an all-new vehicle. But it is based on a lot of BMW X1 components. Actually, it's not just the X1. There's a lot of other BMW things going on here. However, a lot of this car is also bespoke. It's including the body. Because of that, and because of the fact that, pretty much all of this was built in Leipzig. This vehicle comes in at $38,900. It's a base price. Then the optional charges, which aren't very optional, honestly, brings the price up to $44,295. That's a lot. Okay, but let me tell you what you get for the money. First of all, you're getting an all-wheel drive car that's turbocharged, that has a very advanced driving system in it, making it far more drivable than your average Mini Cooper. But more importantly, it's an improvement, at least with the overall driving feel, over the previous model. With that being said, there are a lot of things that have changed, and that's including what's under the hood. Now remember, this is technically a BMW, so you have to pull twice in order to get this to open up. You're gonna have a very bad day trying to make it happen. Now what you're looking at here is a 241 horsepower turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that makes 295 pound-feet of torque. It moves. The thing about it is that it is hooked up to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, feeding all 4 wheels. This only comes currently this way. So in other words, the base Mini Cooper Countryman is an S model with all-wheel drive. However, with this setup, and considering that they've made some adjustments, it can get up to 27 miles per gallon combined, which is actually pretty good. Another thing is that you don't have to put in the top premium fuel. You can get kind of the mid-grade around 89 octane, and you'll be okay. That's new. You know what else is new? The fact that this vehicle has an amazing tow rating. I'm not kidding. If you get the tow package, this vehicle can tow up to 3,500 pounds. That is a lot more than larger crossovers that I've seen that are rated at around 2,000 pounds. Actually, I'm kind of impressed with that. However, and I'm going to take off my glasses in a very dramatic way, understand that you no longer have the option of a manual transmission or the automatic transmission. The only transmission that's available in these vehicles is the dual clutch 7-speed. A very important note. I'm going to lower this camera, and there's something you're not going to see. There are no exhaust ports back here, buds. If you want that, then you have to get the Countryman JCW. In this case, they're going for more of a universal look with their upcoming electric vehicles, and that makes sense. But at the same time, if you wanted that little exhaust poking out on one side or the other, it ain't gonna happen. I wanted to do a real quick design commentary, and that's because I absolutely love what they've done with the Mini Cooper Countryman styling. Remember, I used to own one. Well, my wife owned it, but I drove it often when she wasn't running it into curbs and other vehicles. And it was a much smaller vehicle, but bear in mind that was also 3 generations back. So this, totally different vehicle, huge by comparison. But they did a bunch of things that I think are very cool and unique, and yet still very Mini-like. Now, first of all, this vehicle is 170 inches long, 72 inches wide, and 62 inches high. That is more than the previous vehicle. However, they've still managed to keep the majority of the engine and other underpinning components either from Mini or from the BMW X1. Now let's talk about the front end real quick, because this styling is pretty cool. This area here turns yellow with the signal. I like it better than that weird globular blob thing they had in the older ones. Still has a Mini-like front end. Excuse all the bud mess on there. Still has the Mini logo, and there's another Mini logo up there. The front end lower valance, that's sectioned over there, right down there. Yeah, that's painted, so it's not an actual skid plate. I do not recommend off-roading with this vehicle. However, if you are curious, it does have an all-wheel drive system, which is active all the time. It's completely automatic. You do not have to trigger anything in order to make it work. However, if you are serious about mountain climbing, going up and over boulders, this is not the right car for that. First of all, ground clearance is less than 7 inches. You won't get very far. Okay, rear end design, that's a big weird thing for me because it looks a lot different than the other ones, but I don't mind it. I just don't know whether or not it's very Mini-like, but it looks decent for a car. And I really want your perspective because you guys, well, you know, frankly, if you're Mini fans, look at this. This is also very interesting to me. This little section right here, that's not glass, that's just plastic. But this area here is actually glass. So you can see out of the vehicle fairly well. Even from the back area, this whole section here, even though this all looks glass, it's not. So when you look over your shoulder, you do have some real blind spots. Fortunately, blind spot monitoring works quite good. Okay, let's talk about trunk space because there's more than before. Yeah, this is a little tiny switch back here. There it goes. Automatic. Now, once again, we're packed because, well, we have to drive cross country. This is all part of Mini Takes the States 2024, where we drive a variety of different legs, going all the way from Albuquerque, New Mexico to Seattle, Washington. And you can see that in another video. So, backseat space, behind the second row, the rear passenger seat, 24.98 cubic feet of cargo space, which is an improvement and is actually pretty damn good. If you fold the seats down, you have 56.18 cubic feet of cargo space. Not too bad. Now, bear in mind, this is still a very small car. So even against vehicles like the Toyota Corolla Cross, this would be considered relatively small, although I think competitive because this square space here, to me, is a lot more useful than round spaces. I'm still having a bit of a struggle with this vehicle. It drives fantastic. It really is a very mature, fun driving vehicle. It's well dampened, it's quiet inside. It's still fun. I mean, it really does have a lot of the Mini flair, but a little bit of that magic's gone. Fact is, without the manual transmission option, just not knowing that it's not there, it makes it a very difficult choice for someone like me who loves a manual transmission. And some of you might feel the same way. Now, in many cases, many of you will agree, having the dual clutch makes more sense. It's lighter, it has less moving parts. If it's done correctly, it's better on a track, better in the back roads of these mountains. I would agree with all that. It's proven to be pretty smooth even in traffic. But with all that being said, it still doesn't quite feel as magical as other Minis. Thanks for joining me. This is Nathan. I'll see you next time.